the hottest news out of the obstacle racing scene? Want to stay up to date on the freshest info, the latest podiums, and hear interviews with the who's who in OCR? Well, you've come to the wrong place. Well, some of that you'll find here. But we're not the media. This is not ORM, OCM, OCRM, ORCM. This is OCR Talk.
Hello, this is Jason Dupree.
And Anna Landry.
And this is episode number 55 of OCR Talk. Thank you for listening. And this is... I had nothing. I was going to try to get some kind of introduction to this, but no. I guess I could say I don't know how it sounds to the crowd, but we'll hear it later on. But I am in a new recording space. I have a closet that is solely for the purposes of audio recording, and I've actually blanketed in the walls to help the sound. So we'll see how it comes out.
Save those moving blankets and put them to good use. No,
I actually bought them because when I researched what should I do to kind of soundproof a closet, I actually was originally going to use those foam kind of pads with the like indentions in them that you see in like a normal recording. Yeah, kind of like that. And so in looking in those, they're not cheap. So to cover the walls for the amount that I needed about $150 worth of that stuff. And what I also learned is that you don't need to cover the walls entirely for those, but I really wanted to do that anyway. So what I found is that moving blankets work even better because they actually help trap the sound more and let less go out and in, whereas the foam, it's still the sound. It helps with the dampening of the echoes, but the sound still passes through it. So they're actually not as effective. So these moving blankets were $50 for a pack of them, and I used every inch of them to cover the walls of this thing.
Did you go to U-Haul and buy some moving blankets?
No, I got them on Amazon.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. So it's it's pretty nice in here. Was that me or you?
What?
Oh, that was me. So on top of that, I don't know if that came through, but on top of that, I'll just say that since I'm in a closet, I don't have my normal machine, my big computer. So I'm actually recording from my little tablet Chromebook.
Nice.
So let me make sure notifications are not making noise.
Hopefully I have my phone. I have my phone off. Everything's off.
I don't know if you even heard it, but
I don't think so. I don't know.
I bought a little $5 stool from IKEA. That's what I'm sitting on. And I've got just a couple of like the big, like the moving tub, like your tubs for storage and stuff. Just a couple of those.
Tupperware tubs.
Yeah, so that's what everything's sitting on. So
nice.
I may put a desk in here later, but that's what I got for now. Working pretty good.
Working with what you got. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, we've got actually quite a bit to talk about. It's been a minute, and now that it's getting towards the end of the year, some events are finally starting to happen, and it's actually things are going on. We've actually got real. Funny that the main topic for this episode is what it is, because we could have done that or should have done that when we had nothing else to talk about. That would have made more sense.
Right.
But instead, here we are. Well, did you race since Toughest? Have you raced anything?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember, but I really don't think so.
What you been up to? Just training, running?
Yeah, just a lot of just random run stuff and work, and that's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
Work's been keeping me plenty busy, and I just try and get out on the weekends just to get outside whenever I can, just for my own sanity. But that's pretty much about it.
Speaking of getting outside, I was in Tulsa last week working, and while I was there, two awesome things happened. One, I started doing the Tough Mudder Marvel challenges, which we'll talk about. But in doing so, when I was doing some treadmill work at the hotel, I put the treadmill on as high as it'll go, 15% incline, and actually used my phone and a controller, Bluetooth controller that I brought with me to do some video games while I hiked on the treadmill. Now, I had gotten that idea from Will Hicks because he's been doing that for a while now, where he's got a little TV set up where his treadmill is. And it was actually really awesome. It made me, I did some racing so that it was like I was really super focused on the racing and would kind of forget about the walking. So it'd be like a whole, race would happen and 8 to 10 minutes would pass and it just didn't even feel like it. It was awesome.
Nice. I actually bought a treadmill. You just reminded me about that because with COVID and everything, we had the appointment times for my gym, and they had it to where you could wear your mask just while you were walking around. But once you were on the machine, you could take your mask off. Well, I didn't realize that they had changed the rules and you then had to keep your mask on the whole time you were there. And
while you're doing
while you were even running on the treadmill, while you were doing a workout,
oh, yikes.
you couldn't take your mask off in the gym. And so I didn't know this. And so whenever they told me I had to put my mask back on while I was running on the treadmill, I was like, oh, this is going to go very badly, because I had just brought with me, one of those cheap disposable blue masks or whatever. And I sweat into that thing and it was so disgusting. And I was like, never again. And so, and so I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to buy a treadmill so I can run at home whenever it gets too cold or, too icy to run outside. I'll be prepared, and then I'll have a treadmill that I can run on and I won't have to wear my mask. So that's what I did. I bought a treadmill and I really don't have any excuses not to run anymore.
Nice. Yeah. Well, so running in a mask, now I had to wear a mask when I would go rock climbing. And of course, it does inhibit your breathing mainly because you're breathing into a enclosed space and then you're breathing in your CO2.
Yeah.
But yes, I also noticed that when I would sweat, that it would get all on the face mask, but not nearly as much as I would when I run. So I can't imagine how much and how gross. Yeah.
It was gross it got. I really grossed myself out, and that doesn't happen very easily because it felt gross. I go outside and I go on the trails, and they do require face coverings outside on the trails too. But
really,
on the trails, it's more of people just wear the buffs around their neck, which I usually do if I'm running out on the trails. And then if I'm passing by somebody or something, I'll pull it up while I'm passing by someone.
But then is it just that there's so many people out there? Is that why they require it?
Yeah, it's the governor's mask mandate out there. So, so yeah, and that's what most people do is they'll just pull it up, whenever they're passing by somebody, and then they'll just, take it back off whenever.
Yeah.
And
I can't imagine running the whole time like that.
Yeah, especially whenever the air quality really, really sucked around here. And there was times at 4:00 in the afternoon, it looked like the sun was going down, but no, it was just wildfire smoke. And there was a few days whenever I woke up and it smelled like a campfire outside. And,
wow.
Yeah, and it was just bad. And that was at 7:00 in the morning, so there was really no sleeping.
Well, also while I was in Tulsa, I went to on the south west side of town from downtown, about 15 minutes from downtown. There's a trail that I've worked out there a few times and I've seen it, and I've even gone out there for Conquer the Gauntlet and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I've just never gone and actually run the trail. So I think looking at it on Google Maps, it was kind of misleading because it doesn't show the full trail. But when you look at it on all trails, it shows a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know. Anyway, so I finally went, and it was my last night there. And I was like, I got to go. I'm going to regret it if I don't go and check this place out. And I was pleasantly surprised and really glad I went because it was one of the coolest trail systems I've been to. It was by the river, and then they call it a mountain, but it's Tulsa, so it's as big of a mountain as you can have in Tulsa. But it is a big old hill, and the trails run along the ridge, so for about 2 miles, and then there's like probably 6 to 7 different paths you can take, and then in between those, there's all these little cuts that go up and down the hill, so you can just run long, straight, kind of winding along the ridge, or you can cut down the hill and get some real steep spots. And so I actually ran down one spot and came back and was like, that was like 4 miles. So I was like, man, this is too good. I got to keep going. So I ran a different trail all the way back to basically the end, and then just kind of found my way back, just without looking at my map too much. And it was a really cool place. Like I said, I did some really steep stuff, did some just really fast, long, slight up or down inclines or declines, and it was just gorgeous. Like sometimes you're right on the edge of a drop off and overlooking this river. It's really, really, really neat.
That's pretty cool.
I forget the name of the trail, but I mean it's basically one of the biggest one out there. So
nice.
If you're ever in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, not only can you go to the Conquer the Gauntlet gym, but Conquer Fitness, but you can also go
I
there.
always forget they're out there. They're like based out there.
Yeah, I've gotten to go once before, and just worked on obstacles while I was there. They were having a class or something.
Nice.
I ran this past weekend while Savage Race was here in Dallas. I actually went down near past Waco to Belton, Texas, to do Spartacus Dash, and it is a local race that we've run as a family for the past 3 years. So this is our 4th year going. So it was kind of hard to pass that up because it's one of the few ones that I get to do, with my kids, and get April to do it as well. So that was normally in the earlier part of the year, but it got pushed back because of COVID. And then it just happened to be the same day as Savage Dallas. So I ended up going to that and really enjoyed it and ran pretty well and got second overall. And
nice.
And then ran a second lap with my family. And honestly, that 5 miles, because it was only 2.5 mile course, I felt pretty wore out just because I guess I've been doing so much, running and not as much obstacles. So actually doing the obstacles, I felt good and wore out. It was nice.
Yeah, obstacles are kind of hard to come by in the no touch era.
Yeah.
Things. Unless
they
you have
definitely offered
your own setup in your backyard or something like that, then
right. They definitely offered it up. Like even if you are in the competing wave, you don't have to touch the obstacles. You can just opt to do the burpees instead.
Nice.
But they added on to their course. They don't have any crazy obstacles, but they added on a Z wall this year. And it was a pretty good one. I feel like Spartan's Z wall holds are pretty. I'd say they're in a certain pattern almost, so that's it's easy-ish, but these were kind of really random. So it got spots where it's like, I should grab here, but I really need to keep reaching back instead of. So I really had to think about it going through instead of just slipping off. But I actually passed up a guy. So the way they actually did the race was cool too, because they didn't want to just send out a big wave, so they space people out. So they put their zip line that they normally do first instead of towards the end. So they did it first. So you went down the zip line and you didn't cross the start mat until after the zip line. So everybody waited in line to do the zip line. And then once you got down from that was the actual timing start, which is pretty cool. So it spaced everybody out. So as you're running, that, some people are ahead of you simply because they were in line before you. But if anybody passes you, then they were behind you and they've really caught up to you. So when I ran, I only had one guy pass me up, and I stayed with him for the rest of the race, or like kind of behind him. And then once we got to that Z wall, he slipped off. And actually, we were on opposite sides of it at the same time. And I heard them tell him, go over here to do your burpees. And I was like, oh, yeah, he slipped off. So I'm going to finish this out and beat him. So I wanted to like open that gap up as much as I could because I know he had started before or after me. So he had actually caught up to me. And so I don't know who he was or his name, but looking at the times, I was about 2 minutes behind the first place guy. And the person behind me, it might have been him, I'm not sure, finished about 4 seconds behind me, which is pretty
he was
crazy.
on your heels.
Yeah, so it might have been him.
But couldn't it have been another person in another wave that just had a similar time?
It definitely could have, but I looked at the times, pretty shortly after my own finish, and it was already like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the times didn't really change. The placements didn't really change after, later in the day.
Yeah.
Because it was really just their first 2 waves that were up for, like 9 to 9:30, 9:45-ish, whenever, depending on how long it took people to get through the zip line. That was all the people running to win.
Yeah.
So pretty awesome. And my kids, both, 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, both did the entire 2.5 miles and, attempted all the obstacles except for the only one they didn't even want to try is the ice bath. So they had like the Arctic enema type thing.
Yeah.
So we made them at least stick a hand in it.
That's funny. That picture of April and Layla going across the finish line and Declan's like right behind him and he's got this look on his face like he's so intense and he's going to cross.
Oh, he was determined.
Oh my gosh. It is so awesome.
It's extra funny because we taught him how to do burpees on one of the obstacles that they couldn't do. I think it was like the rope wall, this big 8-foot, 10-foot wall or something. And so they did burpees there, and they just did a couple. But when we got to the ice bath, we were like, all right, do y'all's burpees, and since you didn't want to get in it. And he started doing them and just would not stop. And then he got to like 8, and I started filming them, and he got to 15.
What?
And I was like, all right, that's the last one because that was their penalty was 15 burpees. So
nice.
he did his full 15.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
good trip.
Really hard to like. I know there's little sprinkles of races happening here and there. I think actually this weekend there's a little trail race going on at Bear Creek Lake in Lakewood close by me. And I had originally signed up for the 10-miler because I was so excited that like there was a trail race going on close to me. And then I realized I'm on call this weekend. It's like the one week on call this whole month. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to switch to the 5K and take a chance. So,
well, if you run, is it like a loop or what's the?
Yeah, it's like a loop.
So if you would be 5 miles out, you'd be 5 miles, 30 minutes to get back.
Right.
I guess, or 50, now almost an hour to get back, I guess.
Yeah. Well, so the 5K course is pretty much all more or less paved. Trail, and I think the 10-mile course goes off-road into the trail system a little bit more. So
gotcha.
I'm just, missing out on some water crossings and things like that. So actually, I don't even know if it's actually going to be a water crossing because it's so dry here. But yeah. So I downgraded to the 5K because I'm like, I'll take a chance. But I might be tempting fate a little bit, but
Well, how far is the race away from work?
Like 20 minutes.
Okay. So if it happens, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
You'll be able to make it back.
Not bad. Yeah. I'm pretty speedy. But yeah, no, I find honestly, like I've been having a lot of trouble like staying motivated. I'm sure a lot of people can like relate to the sentiment, but like, thank goodness some races are coming back and they're able to hold some events because I've just been super unmotivated after Toughest. I was just like, so what now?
Yeah.
So what do we do? What am I doing? And I know I have, we have plans in the future for like stuff next year, early 2021 and everything, but it's like, I want to do something now. Like I want to train for something like next weekend or something like that, So yeah, that's why a lot of my stuff has been super random and just like, eh.
Well, I'll tell you what you do is you get a couple of friends and you plan out a 50 miler, and then, that'll keep your butt in gear, because there ain't no hiding from a 50 miler,
Right.
like sitting around and not doing anything.
Right.
So that's definitely been even though some races have come back, that's definitely been my ultimate motivation this entire time. Is like, I still got to run 50 miles soon.
Yeah.
So.
It's like in the back of your mind, like haunting you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I actually had a 25-mile training run a weekend last, not this past, but the weekend before, and it went really well. I just I dropped off some water about halfway, so I did an out and back, and I dropped off water halfway, and it's just on the way back it was warmer, so I was drinking more, and I ran out probably a couple miles before the finish, and felt pretty rough by the time I finished, because it was warmer. It was like 80 degrees by then. But up until that point, up until I ran out of water, I felt pretty good.
That's rough.
So I feel pretty positive about the run, because it's going to be about we're going to have a pit stop about every 12 and a half miles, I believe. So we'll have 3 pit stops, before the finish.
Not bad.
So I'll be able to refill and everything.
Are there points along the route that y'all plotted out that like somebody's going to be able to like meet you at that point if you need some kind
The plan is to have drop off our cars. So we got 4 guys. So we'll have 1 car at each pit stop, and then, 1 to get us to the start. And then at the finish will be some spouses that plan to meet us at the end because we hope to finish around dinner time, and
Nice.
And then it'll be time to eat some dinner. So
Nice.
And have some happy hour drinks.
Nice. Well deserved, well earned drinks after that.
So, yeah, we'll definitely have to do a recap, episode. We'll definitely talk about that, whatever. Because that's, this weekend is Conquer the Gauntlet. And then after that that's the next weekend. It's coming up already.
Yeah.
So
Holy cow.
It's, shoot, we might have,
we're already halfway through October.
I know.
Almost half.
I know it.
Like I feel, I just got used to it being October.
Oh, it's going to be Halloween before you know
it.
Right. You get your costume ready. Yeah, I can't believe that you're not saying there's more races out there in freaking Colorado. Like, how is there not more going on?
I know. I mean, there's little pockets of stuff going on here and there, but like some stuff I would have to drive down towards Colorado Springs for. One big thing is the gym in Brighton, Fit Fokker. They held DecaFit. They're a strong event, yeah. And I had offered to volunteer at that event, but then I also had a commitment with Ultra at a demo event that day, so that didn't end up panning out. But I saw that Jack Bauer had attended, and he set a record there.
Huh.
He had the top time there. It was like, he set a time of like 13:55, I think it was. I don't know. It was pretty impressive.
Huh.
But yeah, they had a really good turnout, and it looks like they had a really successful event, considering like there wasn't anything else really going on.
So I didn't realize that they were actually putting on events, because they canceled the first few.
Yeah.
Like me and Will Raymond, Video Will, were going to actually help produce the video for the first one in Denver.
Right.
And then that didn't happen. So I didn't realize they were actually picking back up until I just listened to the latest World's Toughest podcast. And Will Hicks mentioned that that they are doing those events, and they're actually all over the place. And it's like, really,
Yeah.
when did that start?
Yeah, this was actually, they were calling it a Deca Strong event. It wasn't like the Deca Fit event that they had initially advertised with like a high rock style format with the run
Huh.
in between workout stations. This was like strictly the workout stations. So it was like rapid fire, like 10 workout stations. Um,
And just no running.
just no running, exactly. And then I think and I think Joe had alluded to it in another podcast. I can't even remember what it was, but their Deca, or maybe it was Yancey that was talking about the Deca Mile event. The same gym here in Colorado is planning on hosting the Deca Mile event, and I think it's sometime in November, but I think it's like on my daughter's birthday, so I don't know how that's gonna work out. So, yeah, so I may sign up for that. I mean, I haven't decided yet, but we'll.
Yeah. Do you enjoy that kind of stuff? Like, have you ever done Camp Gladiator or other like CrossFit type stuff?
Yeah, I did Camp Gladiator actually back whenever I was living in Louisiana, and that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Or you did the Gladiator camp? What do they call it? Their games?
Yeah,
What's the name of that?
CG games.
CG games.
So a few people from the camp that I was at in Louisiana, they wanted me to join their team for the CG games. I think it was like this year or last year or something like that. But then since I had just moved here and everything, the timing just didn't work out. But it was definitely something that looked like so much fun. Like, I know Kevin Harkins is into Camp Gladiator, and I think he's done the games. And I know I've seen a few of my friends post about going to like CG workouts just every morning. But it was a lot of fun. Whenever the group that we had in Lafayette, we were meeting every single morning at 4:45, and there wasn't like a better group of people that I could have asked for to work out with at that time of the morning. Because it was just a lot of fun. And I want to say like the DECA events are kind of like the CG Games events.
Well, DECA's or CG still has some running in them, right? And actually some form of obstacle type stuff, I guess.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah, I know. Like they have like hurdling stuff, like the little I can't remember what they're called, like the small.
like DECA would be all exercise type things more than. But I feel like CG had at least one or two somewhat obstacle kind of type thing.
Kind of, sort of. I think it's whenever I was looking at the stations last year, it was a lot of like workout stuff.
Well, I'll stop lying. I've not done it. I don't
like
know.
burpee broad jump or like things like that.
Yeah.
It does look pretty interesting.
The extent of my CG games or CG at all was when I was working out in Rowlett with JB Gerhardt. He was running what he always called Nortex OCRs. Great park that he had a bunch of obstacles and even like spear throw and stuff, but obstacles and workout things, just for training on the weekends. And one of the times, because he leads Camp Gladiator as well, and one of the times that we were there, he incorporated some of that stuff into the workout, and it's funny how it was fun, but I still wasn't like, I want to go do the CG games now. Like I still didn't care enough to do that kind of competition, but it was like I had a good time when I did it. Yeah. I just wasn't interested in doing it, for my own reasons, I guess.
Yeah, we had little competitions in the CG camp that I went to in Lafayette. We would have like whenever we would break up into teams, we would have like little competitions amongst ourselves. Nice. So like, for 4:45 in the morning, it was a pretty competitive, intense group, and it was pretty awesome because it was like, it was held in like a church parking lot in my neighborhood, and like 99% of the people that came were families that lived in the neighborhood. And so they were,
Cool.
they were like parents that like had to wake up before dawn just to get their workout in before their kids got up for school, kind of thing,
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, it seems like they've got a good. It seemed like they had a good business model. I don't know how it's going with COVID, but seems like that CG is doing well. But it's different, definitely different than obstacle racing, but definitely more closer to DecaFit or CrossFit and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, this Deca Mile
So if
event.
that's your style,
Yeah, I think this Deca Mile event, it's going to include some running, but it's not going to be as much as the original DecaFit event was going to have.
how much running?
Not much.
A mile.
A mile. I mean, running from station to station, maybe.
All right. Well, that was a pretty long intro. That was a 30-minute intro. We kind of probably, I guess, touched on some of the things that we are going to talk about. But before we do get into just all this auxiliary stuff, like I said, there's one topic that I was going to make the focus of this episode, and then we can talk about all the other stuff too. And the focus is Evan Perparis and his book. Is it OCR?
Ultra OCR Man.
Ultra OCR Man. That's the title of it. I could look it up. That would make sense. But yeah, we do still have not only a giveaway to do before the end of the episode, but also just like all this other stuff that's been going on, because there has been a lot of stuff happening. Not just these little tiny races that we're doing. Shoot, I mean, Savage looked like it was a lot of fun, but we can get to that in a moment. Let me just confirm the name of this book so that I don't mess it up. Because I know he's got a few.
Shout out, right?
What's that?
Didn't he give you a shout out on one of his?
In this book, he actually does, which is pretty cool. Ultra OCR Man, because he's written a couple of books. One of them is like the OCR Bible, I believe. Mm-hmm. And think about it. Like, who else in obstacle racing has written a book about obstacle racing? Like, well, plenty of people have written articles about things, but nobody's written a book. Now, I think Evan might get a little criticism because this particular book is about him, but you get a good sense of... Now, the OCR Bible and I think the Elite Athlete's Guide to OCR maybe is another one, because he's done more than one, more than two. Obviously you kind of see what you're getting from those, but this one really is more like his biography his autobiography up to this point. And he did give me a copy of it for free, and I got the Audible copy, so I was able to listen to it. Actually, I mentioned before that I started listening to it when running Toughest, the virtual Toughest. And I finished it while I was on my 25-mile run, which was perfect.
Nice.
Perfect timing for it. So let me talk about the book for a moment and just kind of go through what, if you read it or if you read it, what you would expect. He starts, like I said, it's like an autobiography. So he actually starts talking about just his growing up, how he grew up, and some of the things that kind of led him into getting into college and going into the military, and then how all that stuff eventually led him into endurance and, obstacle racing being part of that, but, still just endurance in general. Hearing the tales of his military experiences is pretty amazing. Like, the stuff that people go through in Ranger School and just the military in general, where they've got to lead platoons but not really get rest, have to stay, get maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, if that, for 5 to 2 weeks in a row, or just like the amount of time that they spend out to where they're sleep deprived. That's a big thing that you deal with in endurance obstacle racing, especially for 24-hour races. Dealing with just simply being so tired that you can like start falling asleep while you're walking. So like the kind of stuff that he dealt with in the military, it's pretty fascinating. And he's not unique for that. There are plenty of people in the world that do that kind of stuff. But I think he obviously relates a lot of that to how he feels like he can handle an obstacle race of 24 hours or 48 hours. So the things that he's put upon himself, endure the gauntlet, and the multi-day OCR America and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool hearing him go through, this is what he experienced in the military. This is when he started doing like his first obstacle racing stuff. I think he did some triathlons. And then once he get into obstacle racing, like he just couldn't help himself but be like, all right, this was cool. Let me take it further and just see what I can do. Or I think he went with the OCR America or the Triple Crown of OCR, that kind of stuff, because he saw that from other other sports. So people like the Triple Crown of triathlon, maybe, I'm not sure, but these people who did things like, in the Eco Challenge, there was the guy who did the Iron Cowboy, who did, what was it, 50?
50 Ironmans in
50 Ironmans in 50 days.
Yeah,
something insane. And so that's a good example of the kind of stuff that Evan kind of pulled from. I don't think he mentioned that guy in particular, but maybe like the first person that. What's that?
Just things of that nature.
Yeah, like the first person that did a Triple Crown of Ironman. So making sure that they did like all the big events throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of his first endeavor, was to say, let me hit every 24-hour OCR in the world as best I can. I think there was one he missed because he didn't know about it, but he ended up doing them all within a calendar year. And so then from there, he just continued on making these new challenges for himself. So it really was never about, let me do what I think is going to impress other people. It was really more for him to say, I want to just push myself further, like see what I can do to push myself further. So he would make up these events, like I'm talking about I made up a 50-mile run for myself. I mean, that's just kind of like when there's no event to do it, you make up stuff. Yeah. So he ended up making up the OCR America, and I think the OCR America was where he did like 7 24-hour OCRs mm-hmm. in a week or something like that. I forget exactly what he did, but crazy stuff. And then endure the gauntlet, and then 24 or 48 hours on the treadmill with obstacles, like all that stuff, wacko stuff that he did. OCR across America, when hell freezes over, he did that one. So he did basically the same thing he did the first time, but in winter. So everything was cold and snowy. So then he goes through all that stuff. And then, yes, at one point when he talks about Endure the Gauntlet, it was kind of cool because he mentioned that he was about 9 laps in when I came in to film him. And he was already whipped at that point, but he went ahead and did some obstacles that he basically didn't do for the rest of the time because he was so wore out. Like he did them one more time because the camera was there, and it made him like really kind of pumped up and make sure that he wanted to perform well to show off there. So the book itself, like I said, it's good. It's enjoyable. The reader, because it's an audiobook, the reader put it out there well, and whoever Evan got to edit it and write it with him, it was well written.
He didn't read the book.
I feel like
he didn't read the book himself. I just haven't listened to the audio.
Oh no, yeah, it was different. Yeah, it was a different person who actually did the reading.
That's interesting. That's kind of weird because that's interesting that you say that though, because like I wonder just how he feels with like hearing somebody else tell his story. I guess I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can understand because it's like maybe you're good at one thing, but you're not good at another. Yeah. So maybe he didn't feel like he was the right person for that. I mean, that's a skill that people have, that they are able to read in a way that it doesn't sound like they're reading.
Yeah.
It sounds fluid.
Yeah. I know whenever I listen to David Goggins' audiobook, he actually addresses that in the audiobook that like
Huh.
he really didn't want the book to be just about him. He wanted it to like inspire people, and he knows, I guess, his his limits. So he didn't want to be the one reading his book. That's why he had the guy that helped him write it read the book, which
Mm.
it was kind of another interesting experience, just listening to the audiobook versus like reading the actual book, because you get a lot of extra
Mhm.
content in there. But yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because him coming from a similar military background, coming from the Navy SEALs, and you hear him talking about how whenever they went through Hell Week, and he actually went through 3 Hell Weeks because of like medical circumstances and things, and like he does the same thing. He comes up with just challenges just to see, just for his own
Mhm.
curiosity, just to push himself, just to see like where his limits are. Um, like that 4x4x48 challenge that he had done, that a
Yeah.
lot of people ended up doing, including myself. I had one successful go at it. Uh, yeah, and actually, he just ran the Moab 240 this past weekend, and came in
Really?
second. Yeah, because
Wow.
one of my ultra red team members, David Terrio, he had posted that he was going to go run it, and his wife posted that he had to drop out because he started having like GI issues and dehydration issues, which uh, I
Hmm.
think a lot of people
Well,
struggled
I
with.
mean, easily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so uh,
I would. Yeah, I'd probably be dead out there
yeah, I know.
because of that.
Yeah, but I remember there was like a video of Goggins going across the finish line, and then as soon as he crossed the finish line and finished finished second, he like did push-ups or something stupid like that. But yeah, just that mentality of like always pushing your limits, always trying to find the next thing and improving until you can, get to that point, and just always improving upon yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Evan, one of the places where he pushed himself, but I guess basically found his limits was in diving school. And I think he didn't really care for water in the first place, but it was one of those things where it's like, well, I want to see how far I can go with this. And I think he failed diving school once, and then made sure he studied up really well, and then did it again, and thought, if I fail this out again, then that's enough for me. Like, that's my limit of diving, because I don't want to go any further with it. And so hearing about him uh, becoming unconscious in water kind of blows me away. Every time I see somebody in like a scary movie or something where they're underwater and they're having a hard time, they're about to drown or whatever, and I think to myself, like, I do you not get to a point where you just want to take a breath even though you're underwater? And obviously that'll mess you up, but like at some point your body would react to it, right? But I don't know. So I just can't think of, getting to the point to where you black out because you've held your breath so long. I mean, think about it when you're swimming and you're like trying to hold your breath as long as you can, and you get to the point where it's like, I gotta go up. I'm gonna,
Yeah, it's physically painful. Like, it hurts.
yeah, exactly. And so, getting past that pain and then getting so far that you literally pass out is pretty nuts. I mean, so when you're in diving school, obviously there are people there with you, so that if that happens, they pull you up and help resuscitate you or whatever. It depends on whatever's going on with you. But man, that part. I can't imagine that myself, because I feel like I'd be in the same boat. Like, I don't want to be down underwater so long that I like there's no hope.
Right.
Like, I just pass out. Like, to just pass out and then be woken up above the water. Man, that sounds
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, they showed that so there was this show on Netflix about these people that like that do these obscure sports around the world, and even some stateside, because they covered like roller derby and stuff. But like
Oh,
they did this episode in the Philippines with these free divers, because apparently it's like a big thing
oh,
there, and it's like a really big thing in some of the rural areas of the Philippines and some of the islands, where they like free dive, because not only is it a way of life because they're fishermen, and they go deep sea diving to catch their food, but there was like this story of this older guy that was training to be like a free diving champion, and talk about like scuba diving, going to those depths. At least you have an oxygen tank, and these people are like going like 60 meters underwater or something crazy like that. And it just watching it, like, it makes me uncomfortable just watching it, because I know they're not breathing underwater, and then they get to the point where they're coming back up, and they have to like look the judge in the eye or something like that, and like be able to appear lucid enough. But then some people actually end up like passing out when they hit the surface. It's crazy.
Yeah, if you went down too far and you couldn't handle it, then on the way back up, there's no option.
There's no other alternative. You just have to pass out. And they resuscitate them like right there in the middle of the ocean. Like it's so crazy.
Wow. I do recall one night of, YouTube diving, and came across that kind of stuff, and ended up watching a guy that like beat the world record or whatever it was. And it's like, 4 or 5, I don't know, whatever minutes, maybe 5 or 6 minutes underwater. And watching that is just insane. Like, sitting there in my chair trying to hold my breath with them. And I actually came across videos of David Blaine explaining how he held his breath in a tank for 17 minutes. And it's a TED Talk, and he's actually explains how he got there, but then also how he trained for it and how he got his body to do it. And obviously he's a magician or illusionist or whatever you want to call it, but he's also done this stuff, and the way he explains it in the TED Talk is that it's legit. Like, there's no trickery in it. Like, he literally trained himself to hold his breath for that long, and it's insane. I mean, like, there's parts where his body starts convulsing, and it's just like, because you've got no oxygen in your brain.
Right. That's just crazy to me. Like, it physically makes me uncomfortable even just sitting here talking about it.
So I forget. I know, some of the stuff that Evan's book talks about. He goes through talking about the only 24-hour relay terrain race that there was before cool events took them over, and then we started despising them. And talks about that. He talks about, World's Toughest, obviously, several times, and Endure the Gauntlet, and all the stuff he's done with CTG. And it wraps up really well, and it's a good book. I enjoyed it very much. I don't read. I actually don't read that much at all. I probably do more listening to podcasts than anything. So reading it or listening to it as an audiobook was really good. It was perfect for long runs, because you're sitting there listening to information about obstacle racing, which was enjoyable.
Yeah, I have enjoyed doing runs with more with like podcasts and audiobooks here lately, just because it's just a different change of pace. Like, it almost like distracts your mind from the task at hand, and it makes the time go by faster a little bit.
Yeah, music can kind of tend to lend to, like, you're out on a beautiful trail and you got some great music going. It really kind of enhances what you're there for. Whereas podcasts, I think if you're focusing in on that, then you're kind of taken away from where you're at. So it's kind of let me forget what I'm doing right now and listen to some people talk.
Exactly.
Actually, listen to our last episode, which I do. I listen to our episodes just for quality control. And I listened to that while I was on that trail in Tulsa.
Nice. I've got quite the commute to work now, so I've been able to catch up on a few of my podcasts. That's where most of my listening has been.
That's that works. That's a perfect spot for it. Now, before we move off to different conversations, I don't know for sure if I've done Evan's book justice or not, but I really did enjoy it. And I think if anybody wants to check it out, then you should. It's on Amazon through Audible, and maybe that exclusively, I think. So absolutely go check it out. And Evan makes a living from the military, but then he also does a lot of stuff to, I guess, make money. Like he's got all these sponsors and stuff that help him do the endurance events that he's talking about, but he uses a lot of that stuff that he does for like Folds of Honor. He does a ton of stuff for Folds of Honor for charities that raises money for children who have lost parents in the military. So, charity that he truly believes in, and sounds like a good one from all I've ever heard about it. So I would support it as well. So check it out. But before we move off of Evan, I want to talk about how Evan is perceived in a big portion of the obstacle racing community. And I think a lot of it has stemmed from what happened with him and Ryan Woods. And then because of that, people look at him in a certain way. So, I'm in the obstacle racing Discord, which is like got Josh Chase and Mappy Davis and like all these other people. I mean, you're in there sometimes, and just all these people that are passionate about what we love.
What's that? A mere bystander.
Yeah. So, you see a lot of conversation in there. So it's easy to see where people are. And I'll say that I feel like the Discord has kind of gotten a certain feel. I wouldn't say the entire crowd is the same type of people. Like there are people in there that love Conquer the Gauntlet, and there are people in there that love to crap on Conquer the Gauntlet, even though they've never done one. So, there are lots of different folks in there, but there is. I'll just say that there's a good bit of negativity in the OCR Discord, and think about if you ever listen to Obstacle Discourse, like what are they known for? Obstacle Discourse with Davis and Chase. What are they known for? They're known for ranting, having hot takes, talking a good bit of trash, and Matt obviously is one of the biggest talkers. He just says whatever is on his mind. So whatever. Josh as well. He's got a big opinion. So these two guys, they've got great big opinions. And then I feel like that's kind of the environment in the obstacle Discord is you got big opinions, and it's just, that's the space. It's a space for people to talk about their thoughts and their opinions. And it just kind of tends to lead that way. So, there's a spot to talk trash about Kevin Giolotti. There's a spot to talk about any certain race, and then in that space, then eventually somebody's, if anybody got negative thoughts, then they're gonna crap on stuff. So, if you, God, I'm really going down a hole here. If you
own it, Jason. Own it.
If I'm owning it, if you like talking about obstacle racing, go in there. But don't let people push you around, because that's what they might try to do. Just give your opinion, and then that's cool. Like, it's not, nobody's in there fighting about stuff. Every once in a while somebody gets just really crappy and says some just really dumb, stupid stuff. But it's pretty rare. For the most part, people are, have your opinion, and we'll disagree. Yeah. But so all that to say, that's where I've seen the majority of here's how people feel about Evan Perparis. And so the thought is that Evan does these events to say, I'm the best at such and such because I made up an event, and how's it, like that's how I get my accolades, because I made up something I did. Well, so like I'm about to run 50 miles from Dallas to Fort Worth to Dallas. And that sounds pretty awesome. Like, I'm going to be very proud of that. What's wrong with that?
Well, and isn't that something that we're all doing right now if you've taken part in a virtual event? I mean, I'm just saying, in a sense. And I mean, you can probably speak to the Discord better than I can because, like, I can't even tell you the last time I opened up that app, honestly. And and it's only mainly because it's like a personal choice for me. Just I've needed to start like filtering a lot of social media stuff that I take in,
Mhm.
and that's just like for my own personal preference. Like
Sure.
it's there's a lot of, and there are people, there are like trolls out there that'll just be negative just to be negative, just to stir the pot a little bit, and like that's not really where I want a lot of my mind to take in.
Yes. Well, even to be fair, even if it's mostly good stuff, you've only got so much time
Right.
in a day. So, no harm, no foul to take yourself away from a space when you've got other things to deal with. It's
Yeah,
okay.
and you know, honestly, this isn't like to crap on the Discord or anything, or to discourage anybody from joining in there, because like the more people that we can get connected throughout the community, the better. But yeah, I mean, I just choose to filter as I see fit. I might pop in there every once in a while just to kind of scroll through there just to see what's been going on since I logged in there, 9 months ago or whatever it was. But yeah, that's just, my personal preference. But everybody's going to have something to say about something. That's the beauty of having free speech. That's the beauty
Yes.
of, being able to disagree with one another and respect each other's, opinions. So
Respect each other's opinions. That's a term that
ideal.
more
Yeah.
people could
Yeah.
hear. But
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the ideal way of dealing with it, right? Like
Well,
that can be
you
applied to
don't
any social media platform, not just the Discord. Like,
you don't have to res- you don't have to respect their opinion, and you don't have to respect them. You don't have to respect anybody. But to not just say, "Oh, that's your opinion." Well, you're absolutely
yeah,
wrong because of my opinion. Well, no, that's wrong. So, like, if you've got fact to back it up, then that's one thing. But obviously, there's a lot of fact that can't be proven because you just heard it somewhere
facts and
anyway.
science don't mean anything nowadays. But that's a whole nother conversation. We could go on a whole nother tangent with that. But yes, I agree. You don't have to agree, or you don't have to agree to disagree, but you have to recognize that people aren't going to have the same opinions as you. And maybe that's what I'm trying to get at, is like just that simple recognition of that fact that you're not going to agree with everybody, and everybody's not going to agree with you. And the sooner that people can come to that realization, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Disagreement is normal. You're going to disagree with your best friends. You're going to disagree with your spouse. It happens. Um, but, taking that, like, a lot of people disagreed with how Evan approached the whole Ryan Woods incident. I disagreed with how Evan approached the Ryan Woods incident. But that doesn't mean that I like just blanketly look at Evan as being a terrible person. Like, Evan's got a lot of great things to him. Do I think he handled that poorly? Do I think he could have handled it another way? Yes, that's my opinion. But Evan as a whole has way more positives to him in my experience and my interactions with him than that one incident.
Right.
Now, there are other people in the community that have the opposite. They've got some really great qualities about them, but then they've got uh, an outnumbering number of bad qualities and the way they treat other people. And that's made me step away and step back from
Yeah.
them. So, it's the people who you disagree with, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
okay. So, take the people that you appreciate who they are, and don't let one little thing, I guess, turn you against them. It's like the whole, like, just because you define yourself as one thing, like politics. Say you're a Democrat and you find somebody is a Republican. That doesn't mean that you should not be
Right.
friends just because of that one thing. Like, obviously there's a lot of other levels that you can agree on and possibly be friends, or maybe they're just a great person, even though they're the opposite, like you can still find the good in people.
If only.
So,
If only. But that's just like the general state of affairs nowadays.
So take this back to Evan before we move off the topic. He wrote a cool book. He does some cool events. Dude can run further than I can. That's awesome. I wish I could run as much as he could without getting dehydrated, but apparently I can't. And he's a unique person, I think, in this OCR space, and his background and the way he goes about the events that he does. It is very unique. Not many other people are doing the sheer amount of endurance stuff that he does, and some people do it better. I mean, he blatantly talks about Ryan Atkins being one of the kings of endurance OCR, and he admits that he can't keep up with him, but the way he goes about it's good. He's a cool dude, and I appreciate where he's at in life and the kind of way that he continues to push himself. So go read his book.
Go check it out.
If you like OCR, and if you don't care about him as a person, read it anyway and kind of see things from his eyes. So there's that. And yeah, we can move on. I'm done. With
that soapbox.
I'm on a stool, I'm not standing on it though. I'm still sitting. All right. Moving on to, I don't know. I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't necessarily want it to like turn into such a negative thing. But the truth is that people freaking will look.
It can definitely be in a negative way if people choose to take it that way. But at the same time, it is what it is. I mean, that's your opinion of it. That's your experience in the Discord, right? Like, so, I mean, it is what it is. People are going to crap all over whatever they can crap all over. And that's their right to. Just like it's your right to get on a stool and rant about it.
The funny thing about the Discord, and maybe it's not my place to come out here and say what I've said, but it's like a close group of friends. Like when you're with a close group of friends, you're inevitably going to talk trash about somebody that you normally probably wouldn't say out in public, and that's just kind of fun. Like it's fun. So I guess you get a little bit of that there, but that's a fine line even with close groups of friends. So I guess that's the biggest takeaway is that if you get in if you get into a OCR Discord, to kind of take it that with that, it's a close group of friends who like a little bit of trash talk. That's all. So I don't know. Is there a lesson there?
Probably. I don't know. It is what you take from it.
The lesson is let up on Evan. He's a cool guy.
Even if you don't think so, go check out his book.
Yeah. Then you'll know for sure or not, maybe. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna shut up on that.
Moving on.
We have right now at this very moment, I believe they're up at Joe's ranch doing some kind of crazy Spartan event that Joe decided to put on at the last minute.
Yeah, there was a little buzz about it whenever I guess people were being invited and flying out to Vermont and things of that nature. So,
and it's like they were trying to be quiet about it at first, but now everybody that's there is all over social media talking about it. So
there's no hush order on the athletes that are taking part, apparently. So that's what I've heard. That's what I thought whenever I saw Ryan Atkins posting Instagram stories from inside the barn. I'm like, what? Yeah. Is he allowed to do that?
Well, the coolest thing that I've seen from a press release is that they are turning it into a 4-episode series that they're going to put on YouTube.
That's pretty cool. And I just saw Carlo had posted in the little group chat that Nicole Miracle is doing like recap videos.
Oh, on her Instagram?
on YouTube. Yeah.
What? For Like under who? Under Spartan
Spartan.
or?
I'll have to go back and look and check. But yeah, apparently Nicole is doing little recap videos.
Well, shoot, I got to check those out then. It does make more sense that they invited more non-OCR people than OCR people, since it's a series that they're putting out. So, it might, as some people think, it might simply be Joe trying to prove that obstacle racing people are better athletes than other sports. But in a general sense, for good entertainment, having people from all these different walks of life is good, I think, and it'll hopefully we'll get them more views.
Yeah, I mean it's always been like this battle between like CrossFitters and OCR athletes, and you have Hunter who has tried to have the best of both worlds competing. So yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't seen all the different events that they're doing, but I know some of them include obstacles. Some one was a wrestling event, one was a trail race. So it seems like they're really throwing out. Oh, one was a swim.
Yeah.
So they're really throwing out all kinds of different stuff. So
yeah, it's like a little
good.
mini. Like a little mini CrossFit Games. Like whenever CrossFit Games had just first started and started at the ranch or where.
But with more Spartan branded stuff.
Yeah. Because it's just.
One of the most interesting things that have come out of it is Aaron Newell and his comments, posts, Instagram stuff. The stuff that's coming out of there is pretty interesting too, because apparently Joe let in a couple of randoms that weren't invited initially, and so Aaron was like, "This is BS," and then Joe was like, "Well, you can leave if you think." So Aaron said he just shut up, and it's kind of funny to hear he's obviously like trying to speak out, but it's like, well, I do want to be here, so I'll just stop, I guess.
Purely entertainment purposes, but I am definitely gonna watch it. I'm definitely.
Oh, for sure.
I'm definitely gonna watch it because it's gonna be interesting to see Rhea Coble wrestling with somebody. Honestly, because like I feel like she would be like one of those sneaky ones that just like I don't know dominates.
Think she could be an animal in the?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That would be funny. You never know. But I'm definitely gonna watch, and I know there's probably gonna be a bunch of media stuff around it once Joe finally decides to release it. But I know as far as media wise, as far as there being a presence there, it was very hush hush. But
right. Well, speaking of Hunter, what is happening with OCR Stars? Have you kept in touch with that at all?
Yeah, I may have had a couple glasses of wine and signed up for it.
Oh, nice. Awesome. You can tell us all about it then.
Yeah, so I was just like, it was like one of those late night things, like, oh, this is like a good idea. I think I also heard BJ Jones talking about it on the Running Public podcast, and I'm kind of interested, and it's kind of intriguing to me, just like the whole concept of like OCR athletes and enthusiasts like putting back into an event what they might get out of it. And I think that's like the whole idea around the event is, we have this sport and we have these athletes that we want to support. So, the registration dollars goes towards like, some of the back end stuff, but also the registration dollars goes towards like prize money as well for the athletes. Which I thought was kind of.
No, that is cool that Hunter's, fronting it with his own money, but then the payday is going to be based off of entrance fees and such. Yeah,
so I definitely support the event, and I think that was, part of my decision as well, because there's going to be like age group awards, and I'm not really clear on like how I think there's teams that you can sign up on. I'm not really clear on that part of it. If you can sign up as a team to do like a team style competition, but I know individually, they're going to try to get a lot of like the age group winners as well as the top male and female winners. A lot of or a lot of prizes that they might not be able to capitalize on at just regular races, because you go to a race and it's just like the top 3 male, top 3 female that really get recognition, podium, swag, that kind of thing. But they're trying to make it like more all inclusive, to where like even the age group winners can enjoy, like, I don't know, gooder glasses for a year or something like that.
Is that what you're going for?
No, I have enough sunglasses. Thank you very much. But yeah, I think they even released the first event. It's going to be a mile time trial, which I had done my mile time trial like way back a few months ago, and I really wasn't happy with it. And so, yeah, I'd be interested to see like what I can do.
Nice. So, but before we go back to the mile time trial again, what's the format of the whole thing?
Oh, so there's going to be different events for each week, I think for the month of November. So there's going to be 4 events, and you have.
So it hasn't started yet?
No, it hasn't started yet. The workout or the challenge or the event or whatever it might be is going to be released on like the Sunday at the beginning of the week, and then you have until like Saturday to submit your time, submit your Strava verification. I think if it's going to be like a workout, then you have to submit a video of you completing the workout.
Video proof.
Yeah. And there's certain specifications as far as like weights for women and weights for men. You have to have like a plyo box, a 24-inch box. You have to have access to some kind of pull-up bar.
Yeah, it's very limited.
Limited equipment.
Yeah. But something that most everybody's got. Like even if you don't have a pull-up bar, you can go to a park and get on a monkey bar.
And then you also have to submit proof that, like, say you don't have a box, but you have like a bench or something, and you have to show the measurement that it's a 24-inch, up off the ground kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Okay, so they're trying to keep it legit, but also be virtual, but also so it's one event per week for this. Is it four events?
And he also partnered with Adrian, so it's going to be an OCR WC qualifier.
Yep, that's pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah,
all
different, but it'll be interesting. Yeah. Either way, my $30 went to a good cause.
Well, I signed up for the Tough Mudder challenges because of the whole Marvel thing. Like, I wasn't planning on doing any of them, and then I saw it was Marvel, and I was like, well, all right, fine, I'll sign up for this one. And it couldn't have come at a better time, because I started last week, and it was like the very first day was my first day at like off working in Tulsa. So it was like I had a week there, and I was like, well, shoot, I can knock out some of these while I'm here working. And so I've got some, I almost got the elevation. I got all of the reps for the kettlebell, and I did a few of the other, like I did like a round of push-ups and dips and whatever the other things are, the exercises for the Marvel Mania. Nice. So it worked out pretty good. I got a few miles and almost all the elevation I needed, and still got plenty of time. Another is another week already? No, we still got 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Two-ish weeks. But it has been fun. It's like, I don't know if I would have worked out that much that while I was at the hotel. I probably would have just kind of skated by with a couple of incline hikes or something, but it definitely got me doing more, and that was cool. Yeah. I was into it.
Yeah.
That's when I did my treadmill hiking with the gaming, but then also found the trails in Tulsa. Nice. So I got some pretty good I guess, jump into the challenge itself. I got to do the diving for fruit at some point, but I saw the video of Mark and Sarah eating mayo. Like, what? Did I not read that one well enough? Like, what do you have to do for that one?
I don't know, but that one like made my stomach turn. Like,
I thought it was like a drink with some mayo in it, but they were just eating a spoonful of mayo. Like, what the heck's going on there? I like mayo, but I probably won't do that one.
I like my mayo, but like on a sandwich.
So speaking of which, you get 4 obstacles that you got to do 2 of each week. And so there's 3 weeks. Have the second week obstacles come out yet?
I don't think so. I did it the month before the Marvel Mania came out. So I think they released them at the beginning of the week, I want to say.
Yeah, so it should be out. Yeah. And I can't say I've seen it. So let me look and see if I can.
I'm not crazy about the platform. I will say that about the Tough Mudder challenges. I'm really not
all right. About the platform. I've heard a lot of people complain about the Fit Rankings platform. What do you not like about it?
I just didn't. I don't know. I guess I'm just like so used to everything like automatically uploading, and like I don't really have to manually enter anything, like with my Strava apps and like my Koros,
Okay, I mean for distance and elevation, that it works well, but obviously for when you're doing reps, you have to just type in a number.
Yeah, and I think whenever I was doing my challenges, like I wanted to enter my reps in as I was doing them, and then I wanted to see like an accumulation. I didn't want to like jump from page to page just to see like where my accumulations were happening, I guess, if that.
Okay. You know well, I feel like maybe they've adjusted that and they have that now.
Oh, well.
Because I've been putting in my reps as I do them, and then there is one screen that shows I've done this much mileage, this much elevation, this much, this many reps for the Marvel Mania, and then the Infinity Gauntlet, and then number of obstacles that you've completed.
Yeah, there's that different page that that has all that information. I guess on my phone, is it just not like mobile friendly? I don't know.
I don't know. I've found myself going straight to Fit Rankings instead of going through the little snippet on the Tough Mudder page, and maybe that's helped.
And that's what I thought I was doing, but I guess I just had it. Like I just kept the page open on my Safari app on my iPhone, so I would keep going to that. And I don't know if it's just not mobile friendly or what, but it just it was a little bit more steps than I would like to have for a virtual.
I gotcha.
Challenge.
Okay. Well, I've, Carlo and Josh from Piss and Cox have been doing their videos about the challenges. Mm-hmm. Where's the video for this one?
True.
I'm not asking you. I'm just throwing it out there because I don't think either one of them listen to us, to be honest. But if they do, I want them to hear this. I have been, for those that know, I have been editing those videos. So now I'm like,
where's this video?
Which y'all slacking off? What's happening? Like,
is this happening?
I don't know if I got the time to do it. Maybe the last one came out too late, and there's like, screw you, Jason. We're not letting you edit the next one. I don't know. Maybe they've cut me out. I'm not sure, but. Right. They haven't done this one yet, and maybe they could be waiting to like do some videos of them actually doing it. We've been putting in some videos of people because as it comes out, people start posting their videos of their different obstacles and stuff on the Facebook group. Mm-hmm. So we've got some of those in there. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for some because I thought they were trying to introduce each one as it came out, but they have not done so for the Marvel.
Maybe they're saving something special for the Marvel.
Maybe they're trying to break up with me.
They're trying to ghost you.
I'm gonna go text them and see if they respond. See what happens. All right. Well, before we get off of this topic, let's talk about the obstacles. So, like I said, there's one challenge that's basically like there's if anybody hasn't heard about the Tough Mudder challenges yet, every challenge is a 3-week period where you have to do 4 different things, and then those 4 things have to happen. And then every week there's 4 challenges that you can choose 2 from. So with this one, there's a mileage challenge, there's a elevation challenge, there is a.
Is he punching me first?
What's the third one?
A workout challenge? Did you already say that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So the reps, Marvel Mania is workout reps. And then the fourth one is has always been something silly. So for this one, you're bobbing for apples, but it's Infinity Gems. So it's all different colors of the Infinity Gems. So a lime, a plum, an apple, like all that kind of stuff. So all the different colors. And then the challenges for week 1 was you get to choose between 2 of 4. And there was one to Fantastic Four hero carry, to carry a friend certain number of distance. And then, so the one that Mark and Sarah did is Rocket's Refreshments. So Rocket dared you to do a challenge. Let's see. You line, okay. You line up 6 tablespoons of condiments / food.
Ew.
And then roll a 6-sided die 6 times, and you eat whatever you roll. Oh my. So the options, or numbers 1 through 6, are mustard, green salsa, which like a tomatillo, that's not bad. Pickle juice, hottest stuff you can find. So maybe just like a hot sauce or something. Yeah. Mayo, and then milk. So yeah, all of those are not bad, except for maybe the mayo. Like even a spoonful of mustard would be kind of rough too, maybe. I don't know.
Pickle juice would be okay with me. It'd be all right.
So if you don't roll a 5 to get the mayo, then cool. But if you roll a 5 6 times, that's a lot of mayo.
I would recommend going to see your primary care doctor for some cholesterol medicines.
So I may not do that one. I did do the next one, which is Avengers Tower, which is to do 1,130 feet of gain in one go, or in one day.
Oh, there's a trail that you could out here.
Yeah. So the level up is to do that in one workout, which is not that hard. And then the fourth one is Black Widow's balancing act, is to put something on your head and walk with it from 200 meters. So that one's not too crazy either. Now, week 2. So we are in week 2. These are out, and I'm looking at them right now. We've got Hang Tight, Miss Marvel. So Miss Marvel can stretch her limbs. Do your best impression and see how long you can hang in a dead hang. And then, is that it? Do a dead hang?
Pretty much. I think so. That's what it sounds like.
See how long you can do it. Okay, so there's no like, do it for this long. It's just simply do it for as long as you can. Okay. That is, yep, that's pretty easy. I can dead hang for 5 seconds. Whoops. No. Speaking of dead hangs, did you ever see that video of the guy who was not strapped in when he went hang gliding? And then he basically hung on for dear life for like 5 minutes.
That's frightening.
He ripped his bicep from hanging for that long.
Well, yeah, I probably would have too. Oh, yeah.
Like he did it, which is amazing that he, the guy that was the instructor was holding on to him a little bit, but still he was literally holding his own weight for that long until they were able to land.
That's terrifying.
That's nuts.
Can you literally do it?
Yeah. All right, so the next one, Hulk Smash.
I didn't even kill you.
Blow up 6 balloons, place them on the ground, get into a plank position, and one by one attempt to pop the balloons by punching them in a plank position. Only popped by your fist. Okay. If the balloons get away from you, you must bear crawl to maneuver.
Can you have a safety pin in between your fists? I mean,
it doesn't say you can't. Nice pivot there. All right, next one. Avengers Assemble. Create your own Avengers Assemble video. Record your team members in person or virtually, embodying their favorite Avenger, and then pose. Do yours Avengers pose. Okay.
You should be Black Widow.
What? All right. Number 4 is Captain America in training. Captain America's super strong, super fast, and everything. 30-minute hit-based workout. Ooh. Okay. They show the video and they show what the exercises are, and I guess you just do it with the guy. So basically, do the hit workout, and that's the obstacle.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
if you can be as awesome as Captain America training, then you're good. So that's week 2.
Interesting.
And I didn't even see those, like I said, so I haven't even started on those.
Are you going to be uploading videos to the Tough Mudder Challenges group?
No. I'm thinking Hulk Smash sounds like the kids would enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then I'll find a place to do a dead hang. That's easy enough.
It's easy enough.
Yeah. All right, cool. I lost my notes because I went to this instead.
Giveaway.
Yes. We do have a giveaway. Are we done talking about everything? I think so.
I think that was.
We did.
Yeah. Did we actually get to everything this time? Go on. Look at us.
Yeah. I feel like something came up today that I wanted to add to it, but I guess we'll leave it at that. Well, yes. Yes, we will leave it at that. Conquer the Gauntlet is this weekend. I'm running the Continuum, and the weather is going to be 75 at the highest.
Nice.
So that sounds pretty awesome.
So what you're saying is you're going to podium.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to attempt to not get dehydrated. That's my goal.
Go. That'll be your podium.
All right, we do have a giveaway. Our giveaway this time, it's funny. Ever since we left Anchor, we haven't gotten any more advertisements or anything. So I just haven't done that yet. So all the money that we've gotten now is from all these little things that we did. Some money still from Anchor, auxiliary things that have been left over. A couple of when a shirt or whatever gets purchased, that we get money from that. So this, as of right now, this is the last of our giveaway money. We don't have anything left unless something else comes in that I don't know about at the moment. So this could be our last giveaway ever.
Ooh.
But hopefully not. So this giveaway is for new things that have come on to the Spreadshop store. So if you go to spreadshop.com/OCR Talk, there's the the store there with all these things you can buy that makes it easy for us to give merch without having to produce large runs of things, because you pay for a one-time thing and then that's it. So the prices are a little higher, but it's cool that you can get it instead of not having it at all, because there's tons of crazy stuff on there, like mugs and baby bonnets and I don't know, all kinds of random crap. There is the option to do the face mask, and I couldn't do it.
No way.
I'm leaving that off there. I'm not letting somebody purchase an OCR Talk face mask. So we've got buttons, the OCR, just like a little button, like a pin, that you put on your bag or something. A mug and a sticker being the newest release on the Spreadshop store, the OCR Talk sticker.
Nice.
I don't know the quality of these yet. I have yet to get some myself, so we'll see. But we've had 4 entrants into this. The requirements this week were, I posted it out and said, we got stickers. If you want one, all you got to do is say, I want a sticker. And we had 4 people do it. Sid posted a couple of gifts, not I want a sticker. So I'm not sure. He doesn't get in. Sid, you didn't follow the instructions, so you don't get to be in the giveaway. But we got
good enthusiasm.
Kim Devon. What?
I like the enthusiasm though.
Yeah. We got Kim DeVos, Sophia, Mark Duplessis, and Jason Rich. So it's a tight field here. So all those people that did not submit, you missed out because this is a really easy chance to win. 4 people. That's it. So it is time to spin. Are you ready?
You have the spinny.
I got a spinny. I'm sorry you can't see it right now. Here we go. It's spinning. I don't think it's picking up my audio. Do you hear the
I was
clicking?
really hoping for the audio.
Mark Duplessis.
Nice.
And this is not the first time that he's won.
No, it's not.
Oh, do you hear that?
No, I don't hear that.
No? Okay. It cheered and gave applause.
Oh, did it sing happy birthday again?
No. I can put that in there for sure. But so Mark, you win a sticker, a mug, and some buttons, which I know he'll love.
I want a mug.
So
I guess I'll have
that's
to
perfect.
order it off the spreadsheet.
You should, because that's what it's there for. That's it. That's it. I feel like there was more that I wanted to say, but that's it. Yep. We are going to come back. Next episode will be Conquer the Gauntlet recap. And I take it we probably won't record again before the 50 miler. So it'll be Conquer the Gauntlet, and it'll be a little late Conquer the Gauntlet recap and 50 miler recap. For you, what you got coming up?
That 5K trail race, and then whatever else I can last minute sign up for. We'll see.
I partly hope to hear that you did the 5K trail race and then that you got called in, so that we can hear how that turns out.
Shenanigans, and hopefully news of my promotion. Hopefully.
I mean, if you're right at the, like, how awesome would that be to be like you're in first place and you're at the end, half a mile from the end, and you get the call, and then, or even better, you're in second place and you get the call and you're like, I gotta rush, and then you run and you win, and then it gets really exciting. So bring us back a super exciting story about and then how you just run straight through the finish line, grab your medal, and then hop in your car.
Yep. Off the big lives.
Now, before I let you go, I got the biggest question though. What are you doing
about WTM
for World's Toughest Mudder?
I am hoping to come to Dallas.
Are you really?
Yeah, actually. So if I do get this new position with the company, there will be like about a week where I'll actually have to go into the office just to get some procedural things out of the way, and then from there I can choose to work from home.
Oh wow!
Yeah, at least till
nice.
We open up our facility in January.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, yay for hopefully more working from home, and like this is like the progression of my career, where I've been like waiting for this moment. So it's like,
oh man,
I know it's like kind of a big, almost like it feels like grown up to me.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So is WTM dependent on that?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
All right. Well, I do hope you get it, because that does sound awesome.
Yeah.
Mark Duplessis and his girlfriend Sarah will be up here for World's Toughest, so it's going to be a party.
I know. I really don't want to miss out. I will have like serious FOMO if I don't. So we'll see.
The only people we're missing is Mike and Caitlin and Javier, right?
I know. It makes me sad. Oh well.
Yeah.
All right. Next time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be able to reveal yes or no for sure soon.
Fingers crossed.
That's it for now.
All right.
All right. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to go check out the Spreadshop site, spreadshop.com/OCR Talk. And there's also a new review platform that we're doing. Nice. What is it? I Love Podcast?
World of Podcasts? Oh, gosh.
No, come on.
All right. I don't know. Crap. Putting me on the spot like this.
I was supposed to look this up ahead of time, and I didn't.
Let me see.
Will just said it in his episode. What is it?
And
I love
I was
podcasts.
just listening to that podcast too, but right before we recorded, and now it's just buried in the group text.
It is.
Okay. Yes.
Well,
lovethepodcast.com.
there you go. Love the podcast. You can hear me typing it in, I'm sure.
.com/OCR Talk, where you can rate and review
Yes.
OCR Talk. Or
so go to lovethepodcast.com/OCR Talk. You can only review on Podchaser and Castbox? Why? I feel like there's more I need to do on that page. I will get on that. Go there if you do want to leave a review. Not so much because we care about having a lot of reviews, just simply because it's fun. So if you leave it, then we'll read it, and that's fun. So rate us bad. I don't care. Whatever.
Either way, we'll read them.
We will. And then we'll trash talk you. All right. That's it. That's everything.
That's it.
Take it easy, Anna. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, good luck at Conquer the Gauntlet this weekend.
Thank you.
I'll be looking for you on that podium.
Yes. That's where I'll be.
Or
with a big bottle of water.
Very, very hydrated.
Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for listening. Follow, listen, and talk. That was our old slogan, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I said it right.
Oh, you said it right. First time. No edit.
No, I just messed it up. All right.
All right.
Take it easy.
Take it easy, guys. Bye.
Declan, you want to say hello?
No.
Bye.